When the big wireless carriers start trying to get you to splurge your tax return on the latest nonsense this year, just tune it out. With Straight Talk Wireless, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199 on America's best networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
Welcome, readers. Today on Book Chat, joining me is my Buddy Reads co-host, Classy Green. We'll be discussing Long Bright River by Liz Moore. Stay tuned. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Audiobooks.com. Audiobooks.com now has 175,000 titles and 1.2 million podcasts. New customers get 3 free audiobooks comprised of 1 premium credit and 2 VIP titles. Use our promo code Shelf Addiction, spelled as one word, when you sign up at Audiobooks.com. Again, our promo code is Shelf Addiction. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and thank you for downloading this month's Buddy Read discussion featured here on the Shelf Addiction podcast. If you're new here, every week we get bookish with book discussions, book reviews, shelf bites, and more. If you're wondering what is a Buddy Read, this is a feature where Classy and I select a thriller or mystery title that we both are interested in. Then we have a candid conversation about that book or audiobook. We even discuss it in our Facebook group, Shelf Addiction Official, during a live chat. So grab a glass of wine, a cocktail, a cup of tea or coffee, whatever your drink of choice is, and settle in for this fun discussion. As always with book chats, there is a spoiler alert in effect, so you've been warned. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with your book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That will really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing it. The uncut video version of this podcast is available now on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including this podcast after show. If you'd like to support the show in other ways, please consider doing that by supporting our sponsors. By supporting them, you are supporting us. Check out all of the sponsors at shelfaddiction.com/sponsors. Speaking of Patreon, I want to extend a warm welcome to our newest patron, Felicia B. Welcome, Felicia. I appreciate you tons for supporting Shelf Addiction. Your stickers are in the mail. And again, welcome to our book nerd family. If you've read the book or listened to the audiobook and would like to weigh in on this conversation, be sure to join the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official. I hope to hear your thoughts on this discussion. Links for everything I've mentioned are in the show notes. So let's get going. We've got a lot to cover, so we're going to jump right on in. Joining me is the Buddy Read feature co-host, Classy Green. Welcome back, Classy.
Hi, Tamara. Thanks for allowing me to join you another month in the year of our Lord 2021.
Yes. In a minute, we'll be celebrating an anniversary. I feel like we should do one. It should be appropriate probably this fall. Is that when we start? We started in the fall, didn't we?
You know what? That is so interesting because I can't remember.
Okay, I'll pinpoint it and we'll be celebrating something sometime.
Sounds good to me. Even if it wasn't the fall, we could do fall. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here, and you better return next month and the month after that, and the month after that, and the month after that.
Is that a threat? No,
yes, it's a mild one.
It's a mild threat. All right, I'll take it. I've been threatened worse.
Yes. I mean, that was a threat with love. Okay. So it was.
Yes, it was. And kindness.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. So today I should say, we are discussing the book Long Bright River by Liz Moore. It was published January 7th, 2020 by Riverhead Books and Penguin Audio. It was narrated by Allison Ryan, and the unabridged audio length is 13 hours and 19 minutes. Classy, would you so kindly share the synopsis?
Yes, I am reading the synopsis from Goodreads, and it reads, 2 sisters travel the same streets, though their lives couldn't be more different. Then one of them goes missing. In a Philadelphia neighborhood rocked by the opioid crisis, 2 once inseparable sisters find themselves at odds. One, Casey, lives on the streets in the vice of addiction. The other, Mickey, walks those same blocks on her police beat. They don't speak anymore, but Mickey never stops worrying about her sibling. Then Casey disappears, suddenly, at the same time that a mysterious string of murders begins in Mickey's district, and Mickey becomes dangerously obsessed with finding the culprit and her sister before it's too late. You can read the rest of the synopsis on Goodreads.
All right. So, sorry for that long sigh, you guys. But for those that have been listening for a while, you already know what you're in for by that long sigh. Yes. And, let's cheers, Classy. We have drinks tonight, or, we're recording this in the evening, and we're trying to, just relax a little bit as we talk about this book. So yes. I have a nice, delicious old fashioned that I just whipped up. What are you drinking?
I am drinking Coke and bourbon. So I don't know if that is a official, there is an official name to that, but that's what I'm drinking today.
Okay.
I'm beginning to like brown liquor a lot more.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually blame my sisters. They both are brown liquor drinkers, and I was very strictly wine and vodka up until about December of last year.
Okay.
And now I'm like, okay, I can have some brown. Yes.
It's not, yeah, if you have a good one, it goes down nice and smooth. You don't need much. You don't need much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into this book, girly. Let's do it. Let me just say, I have minimal notes this time, and I want to kind of explain where my thoughts are right off the top. Okay. I feel like I'm curious to see what you have to say, because, we didn't text at all about this book, and we usually do a little bit if it's good, if we think it's good, or really bad. Good or really bad.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait to hear your notes.
Okay, so I kind of just wanted to point out that overall high level, we're going to break it all down as we usually do. But at the most high level, I kind of found this book a little bit dull. Nothing jumped out at me either way, good or bad. There was no OMG moments. There were no, oh, how dreadful moments. It was kind of just even keel the whole way. What do you think?
I felt the same way. I can't remember if this book did win the award in Goodreads, but I know it was nominated.
Yep.
Goodreads, the average review is 4.07. And I can't remember how many, but there's thousands of reviews on this book. So while listening to the book, I am waiting for that 4.07 feeling, because that's a pretty high rating. Usually if we're at that 3 point, maybe 5 and 7, I get it. You know what I mean? But at 4.07, I'm just like, what am I missing? And it was, for it to be labeled as, I believe it was labeled thriller or suspense. I can't remember. Make me go.
Well, on Goodreads, the most shelved genre
on
is mystery. Yeah. So
okay. Mystery. Yeah. So it was a mystery element to it, but I still didn't feel like, I don't know. It was one of those books where it just kind of sits with you, because it almost had a literary fiction kind of feel with some mystery. I felt more literary fiction over mystery. Mystery was kind of slid in there. And I think my issue with this is I came into it with the mystery and the thriller. What's on Goodreads, because you have it up, I don't. What is the number of labels for thriller for this one?
Okay,
or suspense?
So first up was mystery with 853 users, then fiction, just fiction, with 848, followed by thriller, which is 420 users. It dropped severely.
Okay, so that's probably that literary kind of fiction. People just probably stuck it with fiction. But I think even when you read the synopsis and the marketing for this book, it's I think it's marketed as mystery in that thriller kind of feel. And I mean, we even kind of said, oh, can't wait to read this. This is something like we've never read before. And I mean, I'll read some literary fiction. I have no problem. But when I go in thinking it's mystery, thriller, suspense, and it's not, I'm like, what the hell am I reading? You know, and I think that's what threw me off.
So this is some of the things from some of the quotes that were, shared by the publisher. Let's see. Entertaining page turner, police procedural and thriller par excellence.
That was procedural. Yeah. Thriller.
Yeah. Outstanding crime novel. So the person who wrote that, I should have known better because she wrote a book that I just thought was meh. So,
I think I saw her review and I was like,
yeah. So they definitely served this up like it was something more. Yes.
If I was near you, I'd pinch you because we just said it at the same time. It's getting really scary over here, ma'am. You know how they say when you hang out with people, you begin to act like them. But I don't know. I don't know about that. I think this is just us. Okay,
yes, I agree.
So cliche, doesn't it? But I think I think that's our connection, that this is us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I think it's fun. I mean, I really think it's really fun to play off each other, especially when we think the same things. It's just even more fun. But,
right?
It's also fun when we actually think differently. And we have recently about some books. So,
Yep, we sure have. But they did serve this up to be more than what it was for us people who love thriller, mystery, suspense. And I'll even, I think with our last book, which was Blacktop Wasteland, I think we even had that little discussion in our text, like, did you really think it was a thriller? And I kind of looked up the definition and sent it to you. And I'm like, yeah, I thought this was a thriller. I would if we want to base this off of our last book, this is not a thriller. I didn't feel a few little spots. I felt maybe suspense or something like what's going on, like that. But it wasn't to the point of I couldn't wait or what's going to happen or something behind, like I'll use an example. At the end of the book, when she went looking for her sister in the church, and it's an old, dilapidated, abandoned church. I'm thinking this is probably one of the spookiest places you could possibly be. Attics in a church with high ceiling, upper decks and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so I'm waiting for somebody to like fall over the edge or, nothing.
Yeah.
Here you are, you're darn in this it feels almost haunted. And she even she did give some atmospheric language, about the feel of the church and her walking and it's creaking and she saw mice or something moving. So I'm just like, I'm like, okay, because, we're at the end of the damn book and nothing.
Yeah.
They pull a gun on somebody. Nobody gets, somebody shot but nothing. It was nothing.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed because I didn't feel.
I had to re-listen to the ending because I'm like, I was expecting something like you. I'm like, did I miss it? Like nothing happened, basically.
No. It was all I can say was this Liz Moore had a great publicist, marketing team, people who pushed the hell out of this book. They should have just left it at literary fiction with a twinge or chef's kiss
Yes.
of
Of crime. Actually, I would have been okay with the subgenre of a crime
crime. Yeah.
novel,
Yep.
like literary fiction with a strong themes of a crime novel. Like,
Yep. Yeah. Because even procedural,
it's not a procedural because we won't see her again. I feel like it can only be procedural if it's a series and we're going
yeah.
to see these, because she didn't even work as a team really with anybody, not per se.
And she didn't follow procedure.
No.
If we're going to really talk about it.
Yeah.
She did some stupid shit, and she did. I mean, even her ex partner told her, he looked right at her and said, don't do anything stupid. Oh, I won't. And what did she do? Go and do something stupid. She ran to the damn house. Yeah. So, when I think procedural, that means you're following the book. This is what the police do. We're going to do this. You check this, and she didn't. She did not follow procedure. I mean, they called her out on it. She was suspended for not following procedure. So how is this a procedural?
It's not. And also in procedurals, we get more information on the crime. Like we might get some of the instead of them coming back saying, oh, it's not conclusive, or inconclusive. Like what? That's it. Yeah. You're not going to talk about the scarring tissue. You're not going to talk about the cut. You're not going to describe the crime scene that much, like those things were glazed over, which made it very weak, in my opinion, as far as that could have kicked it up a notch had we got more into the police work of it.
Right. All we know is they came across a body that they thought was an overdose and they tried to blow it off, and Mickey realized that she had petechia, which meant she had been strangled or asphyxiated. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that was the end of it. And she kept asking if there was an autopsy, and there was no, and that was about it as far as, like you were saying, procedural, or, we did, no coroner's report, no follow-up, none of that. So, like you said, crime, maybe.
I wanted so much more out of it, but if it were served up as just literary fiction, I think my expectations would have been adjusted.
Yeah.
And
when your entire life is online, you need more than just speed from your internet. Xfinity gives you reliable in-home Wi-Fi coverage, plus protection from Wi-Fi network threats. Check out our amazing offers on Xfinity Internet. You'll get fast speed and Wi-Fi coverage you can count on. Plus, get advanced security free with the X-Fi Gateway, so you can keep the connected devices in your home protected from network threats. Just log in and activate through the Xfinity app. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today to learn more. Restrictions apply.
I might have read it differently.
Yes.
Because, honestly, as for Mickey as a character, as the protagonist of this story, I had a lot of problems with her. I thought she was kind of slow as far as, slow to pick up on things, you know what I mean? And she was also
a very bright woman.
I guess. With
I'm playing devil's advocate. We'll have to go back on that one. That was mentioned several times.
Yes.
How bright she was.
Well, just because the author tells us, hey, she's smart. But guess what? What she's doing, her actions in the plot are telling us she's dumb. She's dumb.
The funny thing is remember Truman says, why do you talk like that?
Yeah.
He basically was like, who says that?
Yeah.
Where did you get that from? And she, my history teacher. Damn it, woman, you're 29.
You're an adult. What are you talking about?
When he said that, I was like, yes, brother, tell her, because he was a black man. I was like, yes, who talks like that? Come on, grow the hell up.
Yeah.
Grow up. So yeah.
Like, who are you trying to impress right now? And she was so awkward with him. The whole thing was a fiasco. She doesn't even know how to apologize, right? Like, you're an adult. Like, what is wrong with you? Very immature in some ways, and very mature in other ways. So, it's like she seems like she's the kind of person that's just book smart and street dumb, I feel like, which doesn't make for a good cop, in my opinion. But
no, not at all. Not at all. I mean, she even mentioned how her facial expressions, she didn't really have a good poker face, just certain things. It was kind of like one of those, well, here's a job, I'm gonna apply for it. And that, like you said, the author kept telling us, how bright she was. And at first I'm just like, why is she doing this? And I got it at the end, why she was trying to compare the two sisters, because one, was born addicted to drugs because the mother was on drugs while pregnant with her, versus Mickey, who is the firstborn, who mom was not addicted to drugs. She was basically like a teenage mom, maybe, or late teen mom. And then they were raised by grandma, which, I mean, we won't say that was the reason, because some grandmas can raise some really strong children, but this grandma felt like she did not want to raise the kids, but she had no choice. And she raised them the best way she could. And she was very emotionally distant.
She did not. I have problems with that grandmother. She did not raise them the best way she could, because there are several things that she could have done to help Casey make it through this. So, for example, she hid things. She hid letters. She hid their documents, medical documents. Had Casey known that she was born with an addiction, she would have never, she could have been the kind of person where I'll never take anything because I have addiction. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm more susceptible to addiction. And I feel like that was doing her a disservice as a child, as a human. Like, why would you not share that?
Because that meant more work for grandma.
She don't want to do nothing.
No, she didn't. Because, I mean, she could have, if she would have, I mean, if you think about it, all the work that Mickey talks about that she had to do with Thomas, it's a lot of work raising a drug addicted baby child. And it can continue on and affect them later on in life, as we see, if you don't get the help that's needed. And grandma didn't want that. It was almost like a punishment to the children, because grandma was mad at the dad for hooking her daughter on the drugs. And then, here you have Casey, the two children left behind. So I felt like she was, she was just mad at them, the world, for the cards she was dealt.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, she was an mean old biddy.
And I don't think it's fair to the grandchildren to say she did the best she could. I just don't.
Yeah.
I felt like she did the bare minimum to get by because she didn't think it was fair and she didn't want to do it. But she did, she was still angry about her daughter, right?
Yeah.
Which is her prerogative. But if you want to take it out on the children like that, you should have let someone else have them.
Yeah. Very much so.
I mean, because Casey has Casey has problems with drugs. Mickey has problems in life. You are dealing with this old man. Okay. You talking to this old dude. You are letting him convince you to sign up to be a police officer. He's the one who, hey, let me help you with your plan. This is what you should do. And she does it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because grandma, she didn't have a plan. Because grandma laughed at, man.
I know. And she was done a disservice by that. And her high school counselor did not help her at all. So she was left to turn to the one person she thought was for her, and he wasn't for her. He just, he wasn't. I mean, he was sleeping with her on the side. He didn't want sleeping with her sister.
Pedophile. He was a pedophile. I mean, he groomed her. He groomed her.
He did.
Again, he groomed her.
No, he is not.
And the thing was that here's Casey even telling he's creepy. You shouldn't be around him. He gives me the willies, basically. He's a dirty old man. But, like you said, both of them had problems. It was just two sides of a coin.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So, I mean, there's nobody in this story who has the shiny red cape. No one's coming in and helping anybody like that in this story.
No, not at all. And no, trying to even think. No. I mean, Truman, he may have been, he helped Casey, he gave her his car, but I wouldn't say to help these two. No one came in to save the day for either one of them.
And as far as the scale of good and bad, I guess Truman was the best person in the story. He's helping people with addictions the best way he can. He's doing some community service, for lack of a better term. Right. He's helping Mickey, even though she was really rude to him, as far as dealing with him, like in general, even before she came to him the first time, he was like, he had to tell her what to apologize for. She's like, I'm sorry. He's like, you want to say you're sorry it took you so long to come talk to me, basically.
Yeah, I know. I almost thought like, is she Asperger? Does she have something missing here that she has no concept of feelings, emotions? He was based wrong apology. Yeah. Wrong apology, basically.
Yes. And he tried to help her in any way he could. And what did she do?
Yeah. Accused him of, no, she tried to kiss him. She tried to come on to him.
She tried to kiss him. She did kiss him.
Yeah. And he was just like,
no,
back up. Yeah. Back up. Me and Sheila's trying to get back together. Creeping me out, lady. And you know what I really, and this is another reason why I thought she might have had an issue and they just didn't talk about it, because she was socially awkward.
Yeah,
she was very socially awkward. She kept mentioning the woman at Truman's house, which happened to be his mom, but she was like, oh, I don't want to mess up anything, because there was a woman that was, was on the phone. And she kept saying that. Okay, so if you don't want to bug him, why are you bugging him? If you think there's a woman in the picture,
eyes, I can't with her. She's staring into his eye. Oh. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. I mean, she never really had a relationship. And the one relationship she did have was with an older, creepy guy who
he used her. That wasn't a relationship.
No, it wasn't. But in her eyes, if I'm going to look in the eyes of the character, she thought that was her only relationship.
Poor girl. She really did.
It was.
She thought, I mean, to the point where when her sister gets pregnant by this fool, the sister tries to tell her, and she's like, no, you're lying.
You're wrong. Yep.
You're wrong. It's not him.
Yeah.
She is in full on denial. I'm like, why would you believe that over your sister? I mean, why would she lie about something like that?
Yeah. Even if you were upset, because I mean, who wouldn't be? Because like you said, even though that wasn't a relationship, in the eyes of the character, in the eyes of Mickey, this was a relationship. So even if you're mad at your sister, that right there, like she said, why would she lie about that? And then at the time, wasn't she a freaking police officer?
Yeah.
Look at the damn facts.
So she was no longer a child at that point.
Look at the facts, ma'am. The guy was constantly checking on Casey, feeding her. They were together all the time. And then all of a sudden, at the last minute, we might have to get her psychiatric care, because now she's pregnant, so you're trying to set it up.
Yeah.
And this woman still did not believe her sister.
No.
So,
and that is shameful, I feel.
Yeah, very.
She didn't, a character said it herself. She didn't even give him a chance to defend himself. She just went along. She just said, you're right about Casey.
Yeah.
She didn't even confront him and watch him stutter.
No.
She just said, okay.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, that is weird, isn't it? You can't believe she said that. And I'm like,
see,
she has drank the Kool-Aid.
This is some of the things I did not like about Mickey. You guys know I love a strong leading woman. This woman is weak. She is dumb. There are problems with her. And it's like, I cannot relate to her on any level, especially as a sibling. You know, how she treated her sister. I can't get with it. I would never take a man's word over my sister's, period. And it's like, I wanted to like Mickey in some kind of way, and I struggled with that immensely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think at one point I did like her because I was like, okay, well, no, because you know what? For the longest, we didn't realize that Thomas was not her son, her biological son. So, you know, at one point I was like, okay, she took her sister's child so the system wouldn't take the child. And then, you know, the more you got into the story, I was like, but did she really? Or was it all kind of almost like a selfish act? Because, you know, this is the child of her former lover. Granted, again, they were in I know we won't call it a relationship.
They were not monogamous. They were not.
No, they
he
weren't.
Was not. She was.
She was. But right. But I'm just saying, you know, here she, you know, all of a sudden she's threatening him to take care of the baby. And it was like, yeah, it was some strangeness in this story. And like I said, there was, the characters were weird. Were very weird. I could not connect
with anyone, with any of them. For me.
Yeah. You know, the more I'm like trying to think, and I'm like, they were weird. Even Truman. I mean, we didn't get a whole lot. At first we were, and like, I didn't understand the author's reasoning for dropping in Miss Whoever, the Black history teacher. I was like, okay, so why was she thrown in here? I thought that was just, I know. I don't know. Was that trying to add some diversity to I don't even know. And then because we got her first, and I loved history. And I thought that they were going to throw some historical kind of factors in the story by throwing in this Black history teacher. And then we learn about her Black ex-partner, Truman, who she didn't talk about for the longest. And I was like, I still didn't get it. I'm like, okay, the Black partner, fine. But the Black history teacher, what the heck?
What was that? Why?
What was the reasoning? You know, because I could see if she threw in her love for history, which, you know, she mentioned down the line, maybe I'll become a history teacher. But we didn't need the Black, you know, the Black savior history teacher added in, you know, to the story. I really don't know. I would love to. I mean, because I can't remember anything historical except for maybe an oak tree she mentioned. And I'm like, history and oaks? What the?
I don't know. Honestly, like, I don't even remember a lot of details around the history teacher.
No, because I think she mentioned the oak tree and how they had an oak tree in their yard, and Thomas liked the oak tree, and Miss whatever her name was talked about the oak tree. But I don't understand. Yeah, I don't remember anything else.
What was the neighbor's name? I forget her name. It was Mrs. The old woman who was a nun. She was a nurse and a nun, and she had many lives, apparently.
Girl, are you?
I can't even think of her name, but I think she was. Either. If I had to pick the MVP of the book, it was her.
Yep, I would say she probably was the most interesting. She left the nunnery for a man she loved that she met at the hospital. Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah,
there's a strong lady right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't even think of what she was.
No, now you're making me look her up. But yeah, right. She was the MVP. She even told her about, you know, your son is missing you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was another thing. Like she wanted to be the best mom, but here she's like not spending any time with this 4-year-old. Days where she had days off, she still or could have had days off. She's still going into work. So, and those things kind of made me wonder, like, did you really want to be a mom? I mean, I understand making money to raise your child, but she was, oh, I had the day off, but I'm still gonna go do this. Or she still went into work. Holidays, all these different things. But again, we come to find out that this really wasn't her child, even though
but she acted
called him
like
her
it
child.
was.
Yep, she did.
And she got very upset at the idea that Casey could come back and try to get, what do you call it, custody, or try for custody.
Yeah.
She seemed very.
At T-Mobile, we believe in putting people first by treating them right. So we're upping the benefits without upping the price. Introducing Magenta Max, now with unlimited premium data that can't slow down based on how much smartphone data you use. Plus, get Netflix on us. Right now, pay zero cost to switch. And bring your phone, we'll pay it off up to $650. Only at T-Mobile.
Activate up to 4K or video streams at 480p. Up to 40 gigs high-speed tethering. $650 via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. SIM and support charges waived. Receive Netflix standard with 2 lines.
Very put out by that, but she definitely was not the doting mother at all.
No. And she tried to make it seem, like the author tried to make us feel like there were some moments of tenderness, like holding the baby in the crook of your neck. But that connection, I think she never really had that kind of connection. She, the more I think about it, but not as rude as G, it was kind of perfunctory, I need to do this, I need to do that. And then when he would call her on her shit, basically I'm talking about Thomas, because this little boy would call her on it,
Yeah.
You had the day off. You said we were going to do this. And she'd be like, oh, okay, we'll do this.
The kids don't forget anything.
Nothing. They're like,
and then
elephants.
The birthday thing was so sad. He's like, when is my birthday? And she's like, oh my goodness. He had to beg for a little party, which he could only invite 2 people to.
That broke my heart.
Yeah, that's sad. Like, oh.
I was like, and he knew what his birthday was, but he was going to like, okay, Mom, maybe I don't. But I was like,
because this girl got a party, and we haven't said anything about any party. We haven't talked anything about my birthday. She forgot when it dawned on her, like, oh my gosh, your birthday, it is next week.
I was like, oh yeah, you're a great mom. You're
a
great mom. And then the babysitter, that was another thing, because I'm speaking from a mom. I'm sorry, the babysitter can only be late so many times and we're done. I asked you to read him a damn book. You didn't. You didn't even take him to the store. We're done. You're sleeping on the damn job. He's 4 years. You're done. How many? But I get it. Maybe she only had so many choices. I don't know. Like you said, I could not relate.
But this is the thing. She is a cop. She got one reference. One. She didn't check this little girl out. It wouldn't have been that hard.
Nope. Sure didn't. Not at all. She didn't know nothing. Did she know
I don't even know
her
last name. She's told the police. I don't know her last name. What kind of cop are you? What kind of mother are you?
And you're a cop. Right. What kind of mother? That's what I felt like. I'm sorry. You're taking care of my most prized possession?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what.
Look.
I will know all of your family.
Right.
I will know everybody and have everybody's phone number.
Right. I don't even have any kids. And I'd be like, I need to know where you live. I need to do a home visit, see what you live like. Let me see some of your family. Let me, what is your boyfriend's name? Especially if I got access to that kind of information as a police officer. I'm going to check all the boxes. Make sure you never stole a candy bar. Okay.
Right. I'm going to ask you, but since I'm a police officer, I will be in the database.
Yes.
She went and looked up somebody else, but you didn't look up your babysitter.
That's so stupid. And again, that is some of the reasons why me and Mickey did not get along at all. Like throughout this whole book, she's doing things that don't make sense to me.
Mm-mm. Yeah, for you to be a doting mother and a police officer. I struggled with her as a mom, really, because I'm like, her mother does that. No, I mean, a good mother who they tried to at first, make us feel like she was. No, I need to know who your people are, who your next of kin. If I can't reach you or if something happens to you, who's your next contact? And she was a little younger. I do need to know who your boyfriend is because he possibly may be at my house. Even though you say he's not going to be there, he possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And you don't show up on time. I've been late how many times? I'm about to lose my job.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, she
dumb.
did it. I don't know. I just struggled with it. Took me, I sped up the time, the pacing of the book just so I could hurry get through it. Mm-hmm. But if I didn't have to finish this book in a timely manner, I would have like lollygagged listening to this book because I know for a fact at one point I nodded because the narrator's voice was kind of lulling.
Yes.
And I had to go back and like remember where I was because it was just like it put me to sleep because this was the thing, I was listening while working and it was like a freaking lullaby. Mm-hmm. It was just so slow. And I think that probably, and at one point I said, maybe I should have read it. Maybe it would have brought a different feel to the book if I read it.
Maybe.
But then the more we talk and the more I'm reflecting on the book, I don't think so because I still don't connect. I still don't, the basis and the bottom line of this story and the summary from my point of view is still the same, regardless of the pace, regardless of whatever.
I have read police crime novels in the past. I haven't read it in a minute, but for a little while, I was into them. I was digging them. Yeah. And not all of them have a super speedy pace, but the pace is at least moderate and the information is intriguing enough to keep you wanting to know what's next. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
This didn't have either of that. Neither one. And to top it off, the plot twists were lame. I'm sorry.
To say the least. Where was a plot twist?
Well, I guess it was a reveal. So the reveal that her son was really her nephew was a reveal, but it wasn't really a plot twist.
Right. Yeah, the plot twist, I guess, came at the end with her partner, her first partner in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, see how excited we are, people? We're like, oh yeah, that was it. Yeah. We're so excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way we're talking is the way we felt while reading this book.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to text you because I'm like,
yeah,
I can already tell. I could tell.
Right. Yeah. And it was sad because I really went into this with high hopes. I was really thinking this was going to be great. And wow. I think at this point when I'm looking for books to read for buddy reads, I just want some thrilling or highly suspenseful or highly psychological, something that gets me on the edge of my seat, one way or another. And this didn't do it.
Yeah. Right. Like when we start this podcast, I do not want to hear you sigh again this year.
And I was like, I couldn't even hold it back. I tried, and then it just came out, this long sigh.
Because it's like, how do you excite? You can't even try to make this exciting to me. And I read some reviews and they were like, oh, these, here's one here that the clever plot and involving characters of Long Bright River set a high standard where can somebody help me?
Yeah, what am I missing? Really?
The best part that I may have liked the most in this story was when Casey she basically turned around, I'm going to paraphrase, to her sister and said, bitch.
Exactly.
You knew these police officers was doing this shit a long time ago. And here's her sister. What?
What?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Right.
And she was like, bitch, you did. I told you Simon
Yes.
did this shit. So Simon's not a police officer?
Right.
Huh? That's how I felt.
That was the best part. I'm like, you go in on her.
She went ham and she was like, and you didn't believe me. So basically, like you said, Tamara, you took a man over me. I told you this. Took advantage of me at a time when I was low. I was getting high. I didn't give a damn. He probably was paying her good so she can get her next fix. But you didn't believe me. And all of a sudden now you want to say, how can you put me and Thomas in a bad position? Bitch, I was in a bad position for a long time. Right. And you weren't there for me.
Yes.
That was my favorite part.
It was.
Y'all like my paraphrase? Because that's how I felt she said it.
Yeah, that is what she said, basically, in a nutshell.
Yep.
And then to find out at the end that Simon is back on drugs. He back on drugs. Because he had a little stint with drugs himself. But, you know, he's probably doing drugs off and on the entire time she's known him.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, because how are you hanging out with Casey that, you know, like you were taking care of her? Yeah.
Sure he was.
Yeah. You take care of her, all right. Put that baby up in there.
They was probably getting high together and then doing what?
Yeah. And when you get high like that, you do anything. I mean, they basically say they do any and everything for that next high. And so, yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the story. Because Casey was like 6 months pregnant, tired, huffing and puffing, her hands was on her. And she was, I just can't take this anymore. I'm about to tell you, I'm about to read you the riot act because I'm about tired.
And you know what? She deserved it.
Oh, yeah, she did. She did. Because I was just like, for one, you're going to say, how dare you put me in that position in danger? And I'm like, here's this woman, your sister is pregnant. She's not just putting you, she's putting her and her baby in danger, who she's trying her best to bring forth a child that she can raise. Granted, the baby was addicted, but this woman was trying
Which
hard.
Is sad.
I will give
it's
her
like,
that.
Oh man, like you had a second addicted baby.
Yeah.
Even though her last was her last 6 months clean, the last 6 months of the pregnancy? Or was it less than that?
I believe it, or last 3 months, maybe. At least she would, but she was trying her damnedest because she felt bad about the methadone and she was trying to live a good life. And, their father, they found their father. Well, she found her dad first. And then, Mickey found the father. But this woman was trying hard. And she knew some things that your damn cop sister didn't know. And you're going to turn around and say, how dare you put us in danger? Bitch.
I mean, it's so stupid. And then even the family basically had seen Casey. They what kind of family is this? This is a fiasco of a family.
Yeah. 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 But again, when you think about that, you think they knew something about Mickey that we didn't, and at first I was like, why are they being so mean? Because they said, because she took the baby. And I mean, I get that because in that moment, it does feel like she's taking the baby. But it's like, okay, so would you rather the baby be in the foster care system where it's going to be harder to get the baby, or would you rather the sister take the baby? So, they all felt some kind of way, but then some of them were addicted to things too. What was it? Bobby, wasn't he hanging, so this little town, which again, when I remember the synopsis, this was during the opioid crisis or a town who was hit with the opioid crisis. So maybe a lot of people were addicted, family and all. Well, you know what? Come to think of it, damn it. Let me go back. Because, again, amongst all of this mess of a story, remember in the beginning, she had a list of people that she read. And then at the end, she read this list of people
Yeah.
who all died in the Long Bright River, which I meant to look up and that was another thing that pissed me the hell off, that it took forever for us to get to the Long Bright River.
Yes.
Which I'm not really sure exactly what it means, but I'm assuming it has something to do with people who die with addiction. So this list of people that she read at the beginning and at the end were all the people, I believe, in this town who had died from addiction. So, and some of those people in that list were family members. So, their family, she had a family of addicted people. And this is what addicted people do.
Yeah, I think the biggest theme of this story that had the biggest impact was the theme of addiction, like dealing with, Casey, dealing with the other family members, just dealing with the people on the street that she interacted with.
Right.
The mother, their mother. I mean, addiction was the biggest thing, I think, more than the killer even.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we said earlier, if this would have been marketed more as some literary fiction with the chef kiss of crime and what happens, I mean, crime does happen with addiction. Those two things go hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. Casey was a prostitute. Casey stole, other people stole, but the mystery, we could have done without the mystery, to be honest. We really could have done without the mystery, because I know many people who have been addicted to drugs who just go missing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the woman found on the side, her partner, I can't even remember his stupid name. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just not invested. I don't even, it's like, I think we only really know like maybe the top 3 people. Casey, Mickey, G, Truman.
G. And Mrs. Whatever, who we can't remember her
and Thomas
name.
the son, and Simon the creep. But, him killing his wife, again, what was the reason for that? What was that plot for? What was that storyline for? For what?
Just extra.
It was just extra. It really didn't add anything spicy to the story, or I hate to say spicy. When I think spicy, you think something else, but it didn't add any extra drama to the story. We could have just dealt with freaking addiction. Granted, his girlfriend or his ex-wife was addicted, but you could have just said, these ladies these women die all the time from OD. Him killing her and that, it was just like, I thought that was weird.
From the story, like from the plot perspective, Mickey could have been a teacher and did that exact same thing. She could have went on a search for her sister.
Would have been more
didn't even be a cop and stumbled into that. You know what I mean? That could have been interesting. And then she could have been trying to deal with, talk to the detectives and talk to the cops and not getting anywhere, versus her being a cop and can't even deal with her own colleagues.
Can't even be a cop. Yeah. You can't even do things right. Let's go back to, you couldn't even investigate your own damn babysitter.
Yeah. So some of those missteps might have been easier overlooked if she was a citizen, right? Just a citizen searching for her sister and came across this plot, this crime going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That would have been totally so much better than this. Your new partner is an ex construction worker who decided to become a cop. And then day 2, he creeps you the hell out because he talks about them girls. And then now you don't have a partner anymore. It was just some really weird things going on, because it was like, how do you do that? How do you just say he creeps me out and you are now solo? How does an ex construction. It was just weird.
It didn't even seem like she had the level of seniority to even do something like that.
No. And as dumb as you were, you needed a partner. You needed somebody to do some shit. But it was just, and it was
that's what Truman's job was. I mean, even when he was helping her when he was on disability, he's like grabbing her leg, telling her to stop talking at certain points. Like, shut up, girl. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree with you that if she was just a regular citizen, possibly this history teacher whose sister, was addicted to drugs, blah, 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 who had gone missing. And she went looking for her sister. The police was not giving her the answers that she needed. So she decided, I guess I'll become a detective myself, because that is more believable than this shit that we just read. I'm sorry. I don't know who else gave this book a damn 4 out of 5 stars, but that was some shit. Because it was unbelievable. At the end, her ex-partner was just bullshit. It was. I mean, I was pissed off.
Yeah. It was a waste of 13 hours?
13 hours.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I tried 1.8 and the girl, she didn't sound any better. So I went back to 1.5.
She didn't. I tried 1.8 too. And I'm like, it's not working out.
See, Tamara, what did I tell you? This is getting really scary.
We're like twinning with the stuff we're doing. It's hilarious.
Oh my God. I tried because I was like, oh my God, I can't go to sleep again because I got to finish this damn book. And and I was like, okay, I'm just going to push through. I went for a walk because, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay awake because I'm walking. And it was still just boring.
I finished this book 2:00 today. And I'm like, I can finish it. It should be okay. And this morning, I had like 3 hours to go when I woke up this morning. And I kept pressing pause. I'm watching videos. I'm doing other stuff. I'm like, I
gotta finish this book.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how I felt too. It was, it was some unbelievable things.
Yeah.
Even if it was believable, she didn't weave them together seamlessly because it was jumpy. It wasn't. Yeah. And so with that being said, I don't have a whole lot more to say.
Me neither. I feel like even the writing style, outside of the plot, like the construction of it all, just listening, even that kind of felt a little simplistic to me.
Yeah. The back, the now, the then, it really was. And the Nutcracker plot, I was just like, not the plot, but the story of her when she was in school and they went to the Nutcracker. And at first I was, because, man, I can't even think, like, I don't think it really started or things started to even pick up, and it wasn't even a pickup. I think I was at the 90% mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might have been when Casey and her kind of came back together because the dad was like, I have Casey. And I think that when I looked, I think I was at 90%. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It took this long? Yeah. And it really wasn't exciting. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand a lot of people clearly enjoyed this book. We can make our own assumptions as to why that may be, but, I'll leave that for another time or not at all. But for me, it just didn't hit. And, not everything is for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another book not living up to the hype, in my opinion.
No. And like you were saying, it might be for everybody. And I can say I have family members who are addicted to drugs. I get it. Mm-hmm. I understand it. I've seen it. But it was just some unbelievable things. Or she didn't write them. She didn't write this story. Yeah. seamlessly. It was like you said, the structure was bad. Even the then and now. And at first I was like, is she trying to build, the character building? And I'm like, okay, I know a whole lot about these girls. Now let's get to the damn plot.
It was like a family drama with addiction as the main theme.
Yep.
That's what it was, y'all. Straight up.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. It really was. Y'all just fooled us mystery people.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I know.
I'm sick of this.
Got us again. You got us.
And they would have got away with it if it wasn't for the meddling kids. I feel like a damn school. Gosh, man, we have to. But the thing is with books, you just don't know. It's kind of like that mystery bag, or mystery box. You won't know until you open the damn box. And they got us again. I'm sick of you guys in publishing with your freaking synopsis shit.
You're misleading. You're leading with what you think are the best parts of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that may not be the actual story in the book or the focus of the story.
Yep.
I'm kind of tired of it.
Yeah, I am too. I'm tired of you sighing at the beginning, and I'm tired of
She's like, I'm tired of you sighing.
I am, because that's a precursor.
You know what? I hope you guys are listening and you didn't say, oh my gosh, Tamara sighed. I'm not even going to bother off. I hope that didn't happen.
No, please don't not bother, because you guys need to hear why Tamara sighed. We have good stuff here.
Yeah, and I don't sigh all the time, only when it's not that great.
No,
so what you're in for.
Right, and some of the sighing is some of the best discussions, because we dispel or we disagree with the norm in a lot of these situations. Because when we pick these books, and every once in a while we will go out of the box and say, okay, let's try this one, even though it's not rated like a really high. We will try and go outside of, the norm of high ratings. And we wind up finding some gems that way.
Yeah.
But sometimes when she sighs, these can be some really good discussions.
I know. And it's like, I hate to do it, but it's like, sometimes I don't know where else to start. I mean, I don't want to say, okay, that was crap. That's not the first sentence I want to say. No. So I'm like, okay.
It's almost like you got to let all the air out. So you can say, all right, let me get ready for this, because this is a doozy.
Yeah. It's let's just get rid of that tension. That was a tension release. Now we can just get into it. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Like, I'm so glad that book is over.
Yeah.
Woo! Yes.
Well, let's go ahead and rate the thing. I mean, we even talked about the narrator a little bit already, so I think that's kind of square. I don't have anything else to add as far as that.
She had no inflection. There were times where I couldn't even tell like who is who. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not even. I got one thing. She had the worst Jamaican accent. Oh my God. Did you hear when she got to the guy who was owned the store, who was helping? He wasn't helping, but in the back, that was not even Jamaican. I don't even know what accent that was.
I don't know either. I didn't. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I'm not even going to try to pretend it was Jamaican, because it wasn't.
And I'm not even sure if I even looked her up to see if I've listened to books by her before. I have a feeling I did.
Her name doesn't seem familiar to me at all. So,
but after this, it was just like, ooh. And and the only way we know it was Jamaican because she mentioned it. But it was awful. It was, oh my God, it was awful. It was so awful.
Yeah, I just scrolled through her first page of 20 items on Audible, and outside of this, nothing on her first page have I listened to. So I haven't heard her before.
Okay, and I'm not even gonna look because I don't want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was below for me. I mean, she put me to sleep. She had I could do a better. She was better off saying, "Hey, Mom."
Right.
It
Yeah.
was awful. It was just awful. So yeah, that's the narrator. How
Yeah.
about the cover art? I have to look at the cover art again.
Meh. I mean, it's really nondescript. There's nothing really going on.
Right, because
I
it
guess
almost looks like rain.
Yeah, it does look like rain, but I guess it could be.
The
It
river.
looks like rain on a window.
Yep. And I don't remember them talking about rain in the story.
Yeah.
Because it was cold at one time. It was like winter. They were shoveling snow again. And right, because I don't think, did you look up what Long Bright River possibly means? Is there like a...
I tried. I didn't find anything. And I Googled it and nothing came up but book stuff. So...
Yep. So there is no like a euphemism or metaphor or whatever to that title.
No, not that I'm able to find. So it might be something I'm just not familiar with, but apparently Google is unfamiliar as well.
Okay.
So,
okay. So title and book art, a no.
Yeah. I thought about, I'm like Long Bright River. Okay.
Yeah. Even when she mentioned it in the end, I still, it sounded poetic, but I'm still not sure what it means. And I'm not going to research it. I've already lost, I'll say 12 hours because I was only able to go up to 1.5, maybe 11. Yeah, not my.
Yeah, I found this little article from the Philadelphia Citizen. I think she talks more about it, but I don't have the patience to try to read through all of this. So
maybe add it in the show notes or something in case someone else wants to read it who may be interested.
Or not, or you can Google it. The PhiladelphiaCitizen.org.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want to promote it.
All right.
You can
Sounds
find
great.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll share it with you if you want to see it, Classy, but yeah.
I'm good.
Okay, moving on. Let's rate the thing. Let's rate this and move on.
I gave it a 2.
Okay. I also gave it a 2 for all of the reasons we already just told you.
Yep.
I have nothing else to add.
Nope. Amen. That is all.
Yes, that is all. So, okay, so our next book, I think we're kind of still sorting out possibly what could be next. By the time you are listening to this, though, it would have been posted in Shelf Addiction Official. So right now, at the time of recording, we can't definitively tell you what April will be, but head on over to Shelf Addiction Official and you will see what was posted earlier in March, and you will know. So, we're going to have the next quarter up, April, May, and June, and you can find out what we're reading for the next 3 months. So you can put your books on hold with the library or, borrow them from friends or whatever you need to do to get the next books. And come back here and listen to us chat with us in the Shelf Addiction Official Facebook group.
Yes, we'd love to have you over there. Come on over.
Yeah, we have such great book club chats. It's so fun.
Yeah, right. And it's live. We are doing video chatting in rooms in Facebook. So
yeah,
fun times.
It's like a legit book club. It's a legit online book club. Come and talk about the book with us and other things. You know how book club rolls. So you talk some about the book, some about other things, get to know us, get to know the other members of the group. And that's a good time. So definitely consider coming over there and joining us.
Yes. And when you fill out the questions, mention, where you heard it right here.
Yes. And I think that's it. What do you think, Classy?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, thank you so much, you guys. If you are still listening right now to my voice, then I appreciate you for listening until the end. As always, hope to see you again on the next Buddy Read. And until next time, take care of yourselves. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review, or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction official Facebook group, where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.
When you rely on the internet for everything, you need speed that can handle anything. And now, Xfinity delivers Wi-Fi speed faster than a gig. Check out our amazing offers on internet and learn about the latest breakthrough from Xfinity. Wi-Fi speed faster than a gig. That's more than enough speed to power all your devices and then some. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today to learn more. Restrictions apply. Gig Wi-Fi requires gig speed and compatible xFi gateway. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Virginia, William Hill, America's #1 sports book, is now here. And we have a special 2021 offer to help you bet on all your favorite sports risk-free. Download the William Hill Sportsbook app, and when you sign up, you can get started with a risk-free bet of up to $2,021. Use promo code RADIORF.
Terms and conditions apply. 21 plus only. Gambling problem? Call, text, or chat our confidential and toll-free helpline at 1-888-532-3500.
Let's make it interesting with William Hill Sportsbook.